The kitchen is a wall of sound and heat ticket printer rattling out orders in mechanical bursts, pans hissing and popping against the burners, the exhaust hood roaring overhead like it's trying to devour the entire room. I'm working the sauté station with 3 pans going at once, my hands moving through the rhythm I've built over 3 years in this kitchen, when I hear my girlfriend's voice cut through all of it.
I said no. Stop it.
The tone makes my stomach drop, not angry strained, with an edge of actual fear threading through it. I glance up from the scallops browning in butter and see her backing away from the walk-in cooler, arms crossed tight against her chest. Derek's there, Tony's cousin, one hand pressed against the stainless steel doorframe beside her head, leaning in with that grin he wears like he's letting you in on a joke. When she ducks under his arm and walks away fast toward the host stand, I can see the flush creeping up her neck, that particular shade of red that comes from humiliation rather than heat. Something hot and sick twists in my gut, but I've got 6 tickets hanging and a dining room full of people who paid good money to eat here, and none of them care about my problems. Derek showed up 3 weeks ago. Tony, the owner, brought him in as a temp after Derek got fired from his last job, though nobody talks about why he got fired. The kitchen gossip filled in the gaps fast enough, walked out during service after throwing a pan at the sous chef. Something about creative differences that was really about showing up drunk and refusing to take direction. Tony told us during the staff meeting,
"He's got experience. And he's family. He needs help getting back on his feet."
What Tony meant was, Derek's untouchable, so get used to it. Derek made sure we understood that from day one. He walked in acting like he owned the place, immediately started changing how we did everything, new recipes, new workflow, new prep procedures, talking down to cooks who'd been here longer than he'd been working professionally. When the sous chef pushed back, Derek just smiled and said,
"Take it up with Tony if you've got a problem."
Nobody took it up with Tony because we all knew how that would go. I plate the scallops, fire the next round, and push through the rest of service with my jaw clenched tight enough to make my teeth ache. After close, I find Derek in the parking lot. The asphalt still radiates the day's heat, and the air smells like fryer oil and rotting produce from the dumpster, thick enough to taste. Derek's unlocking his truck, keys jangling in his hand, when I walk up and stomp about 3 feet away. Close enough that he has to look up slightly, close enough that the easy smile starts to drain from his face like water circling a drain. I say, "You need to leave her alone." He laughs, sharp and dismissive, like I just told a joke he didn't find funny.
"Dude, relax. We were just talking."
"She asked you to stop. You didn't stop." His jaw tightens and he straightens up, tries to square his shoulders like he's trying to remember he's supposed to be intimidating.
"You got a problem with me?"
I step closer. Just one step, but it changes everything between us. The laughter dies completely, and I watch his throat work as he swallows. For just a second, there's something raw in his eyes, actual fear, or maybe just the sudden realization that family connections don't mean much in an empty parking lot at midnight when there's no one around to protect you. I say, keeping my voice low and controlled, "If you touch her again, we're going to have a very different conversation. You understand me?" He nods too quick, too eager.
"Yeah. Okay. My bad, man. I didn't mean anything by it. Just messing around, you know?"
Good. I walk back inside, heart pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears, adrenaline making my hands shake. There's a grim satisfaction settling in my chest, cold and certain. I think that's the end of it. It's not the end. Derek stops bothering my girlfriend. I notice that immediately. But 2 days later, things start happening. Tuesday morning, I come in for prep and find my station's been completely rearranged. Not destroyed, just reorganized in a way that makes no sense for how I work. My mise en place containers are in different positions, my knives have been moved, my entire setup disrupted. It takes me 20 minutes to get everything back the way I need it, 20 minutes of prep time I don't have. Derek says when I ask him about it, voice casual like he's done me a favor.
Oh, I cleaned up a bit. Thought it looked messy.
Wednesday, my girlfriend gets scheduled for a double close the night before, open the next morning with only 4 hours between shifts. She's been here 2 years and has never been scheduled like that. When she asks Tony about it, he says,
Derek's handling the schedule now. Talk to him.
Derek just shrugs when she brings it up.
We needed coverage. You're reliable.
Thursday during lunch rush, Derek changes the fish special without telling anyone. I've got 3 orders already fired for the old special when he announces.
We're doing it differently now. Pan-seared, not grilled.
I try to explain that he needs to tell me before service starts, but he just says,
I'm telling you now. Adapt.
I remake the orders while the customers wait an extra 15 minutes and one of them complains to Tony about the delay. Friday, Derek rewrites the sauce recipe for our signature dish, adds cream, changes the ratios, makes it heavier and less balanced. I tell him it's not going to work, that the acidity's wrong and it'll coat the palate and kill the other flavors. He says,
Just make it how I wrote it. Trust me. I've been doing this a long time.
I make it his way because what else am I going to do? The first 2 tables love it because they're not regulars and they don't know what it's supposed to taste like. The 3rd table sends it back. Too rich, doesn't taste right. Derek blames the kitchen, says someone's not following the recipe. I show him my prep notes with everything exactly as he specified, and his face flushes red. He says,
Well, maybe the customer doesn't know what good food tastes like.
Tony overhears this, and his voice gets an edge.
Derek, if customers are complaining, we need to listen.
It's one complaint.
It's 3 complaints this week. What's going on back there?
Derek pivots fast, doesn't look at me, but the implication hangs in the air between us.
I think some people are having trouble adjusting to the new procedures. Some resistance to change.
I don't say anything. I just go back to the line and finish service. That night, my girlfriend tells me Derek seated a difficult regular customer in her section, a guy who's notorious for being demanding and tipping poorly, when there were 2 other open sections with servers who hadn't been sat in 20 minutes. She explains, voice tired.
He said it was my turn in the rotation, but I checked the sheet. It wasn't.
The following week, things escalate in small, deliberate ways that feel designed to make us both miserable. Derek wants to change our fish supplier because he's got a guy who can get us product for 30% less. I explain that the quality won't be the same, that we've worked with Mike for 3 years, that he sources sustainably and delivers fresh and saves the best cuts for us because we've built a relationship. Derek says,
Price is price. We're not running a charity.
I turn to Tony and try to make my case. Our fish is one of our signatures. People come here specifically for...
Let's try Derek's supplier for a week. See how it goes.
The fish arrives Thursday and it's fine. Not great, not terrible. Just fine in that generic way that tells me it's been sitting on ice for too long, that it was frozen and thawed, that nobody cared about it between the ocean and our kitchen. I can work with it, but I can't make it exceptional the way I could with Mike's product. Derek says when the first orders go out without complaint.
See? Same quality, better price. You were worried about nothing.
That weekend, we're running a special tasting menu high margin, prepaid important for impressing potential private event clients. I prep everything exactly as specified in Derek's menu plan, even though I can see the problems stacking up like dominoes. The timing's off, the flavors don't build properly, there's no cohesion between courses. I tell him Friday afternoon while I'm doing my mise. This isn't going to flow right. The halibut and the lamb both have heavy cream sauces. It's going to be monotonous by course 4.
It's fine. You're overthinking it.
I'm telling you, from experience, this won't.
Just cook what's on the menu.
I cook what's on the menu. The tasting goes out Saturday night, and by course 3 I can see it on the guests' faces. They're slowing down, the richness overwhelming their palates, each bite feeling more labored than the last. By course 5, some of them are leaving food on their plates, and these are people who paid $120 a head for this experience. The feedback cards are polite but lukewarm. Ambitious, rich, perhaps too heavy overall. Monday morning, Tony calls a meeting.
The tasting didn't perform as well as we hoped.
He's looking at Derek, but Derek speaks first.
I think the execution wasn't quite there. The timing was off on a few courses. Some things came out colder than they should have.
I stare at him because everything came out at proper temperature. I checked every single plate. I say, keeping my voice level, I followed your menu exactly.
The menu was fine. The execution needed work.
Tony's looking between us now, trying to read the situation, trying to figure out who's telling the truth.
What happened?
I told him the flavor profile was too heavy. He told me to cook it as written. I did exactly that. Tony's voice has taken on an edge that I don't like.
So you knew there was a problem and you just went along with it? Your job is to make sure the food is excellent.
I feel something cold settle in my chest, something that feels like the last bit of goodwill I had for this place draining away. Derek's watching this exchange, and I can see the smallest smile at the corner of his mouth, barely visible, but definitely there. I say quietly, "You're right, it is." That's when I stop trying. Not obviously, not in a way that would get me fired or give them ammunition. I just stop compensating for Derek's incompetence, stop filling in the gaps, stop using my 3 years of knowledge and relationships to make his bad decisions work anyway. Derek wants cheaper fish? Fine. I'll cook it exactly as it comes, no extra prep work to elevate it, no special techniques to mask the inferior quality. Derek wants cream-heavy sauces? Sure. I'll make them exactly as written, even though I know they'll coat the palate and make every dish taste samey after 2 courses. Derek changes procedures mid-service? Okay, I'll pivot, and when it takes longer and customers have to wait, that's not my problem anymore. The next time Derek reorganizes my station overnight, I don't fix it. I just work with whatever setup he's created, even though it slows me down by 20%. When he schedules my girlfriend for another impossible double shift, she doesn't argue. She just shows up exhausted and does the minimum required without the charm and attention to detail that used to turn difficult tables into regulars. When he seats the worst customers in her section repeatedly, she serves them with professional politeness and nothing more. No magic, no extra care, no smoothing over rough edges. We stop caring about the outcomes. We just follow orders and let the chips fall where they will. 2 weeks later, Derek decides we're doing too much prep work. He announces at the staff meeting, sounding pleased with himself like he's discovered some great efficiency.
We're wasting labor hours. From now on, we prep only what we need for each service, day to day.
I can see the problem immediately, can see exactly how this is going to fail, but I voice my concern anyway because I want it on record. That's going to create problems. If we get slammed unexpectedly, we won't have backup.
Then we'll just 86 items. No big deal.
Our regulars expect certain dishes to be available.
They'll order something else.
I look at Tony, waiting for him to step in, but Tony's scrolling through his phone and not paying attention. Okay. Friday night, we get hit hard. An unexpected corporate group, 20 people, no reservation, all arriving at once. We run out of 3 signature items by 7:30. The host staff has to keep telling customers, "Sorry, we're out of that. Sorry, that's no longer available tonight." One regular customer, a guy who's been coming here every Friday for 2 years, asks for the halibut. We're out. He asks, genuinely perplexed, "Since when do you run out of halibut on a Friday?" My girlfriend says, "Because what else can she say?"
New prep procedures.
He leaves without ordering anything else. Monday, Tony's upset about the weekend.
We can't be running out of signature dishes on our busiest night. That's unacceptable.
I remind him calmly. We went to day-to-day prep, like Derek wanted.
You should have prepped more if you knew we'd run out.
I didn't know we'd get a walk-in group of 20 people.
That's exactly why you prep extra. That's why you plan ahead.
I don't argue with him. I just nod and let him talk. Derek's watching this conversation unfold, and I can see him relax as Tony focuses his frustration on me instead of on the person who made the decision. But then Tony turns to Derek.
Why did we change the prep schedule in the first place?
Derek says smoothly, like he's been preparing this answer.
To reduce labor costs. We were prepping way too much and throwing away product.
I say, keeping my voice factual rather than defensive. We were throwing away almost nothing. I track waste every week. We were at 3%, which is industry standard for fine dining.
3% is 3%. That's money walking out the door.
Tony looks tired, like he's already exhausted by this conversation, and we're barely 5 minutes in.
Just figure it out. I don't want to hear about this again.
The next week, Derek decides our wine pairings are too expensive and need to be adjusted. He says,
We're recommending bottles that are $30, $40 a glass. People aren't ordering them.
my girlfriend, who manages the wine program with our sommelier, tries to explain.
The people who want pairings are ordering them. Our pairing rate is actually up this quarter.
But think how much higher it could be if we recommended cheaper options that more people can afford.
Cheaper wines won't pair as well with the food. They'll clash with the flavors instead of complementing them.
Most people can't tell the difference anyway.
My girlfriend looks at Tony, waiting for backup. Tony's reviewing the liquor invoice and doesn't look up. She doesn't argue further.
Okay, what do you want me to recommend?
Derek gives her a list of house wines, low-margin stuff, nothing that actually complements the menu, just whatever's cheapest and most available. That weekend, a regular couple asks for pairing recommendations. My girlfriend offers Derek's selections because those are her instructions now. The wife takes one sip of the wine with her scallops and makes a face she tries to hide but can't quite manage. She says politely, apologetically even, "This doesn't work."
I'm sorry. Would you like me to suggest something else?
What would you actually suggest? She suggests what she would have suggested before Derek's intervention, a crisp albarino that'll cut through the richness of the butter sauce and bring out the sweetness of the scallops. The couple orders it and they're happy. The pairing works the way it should and the evening is saved. Derek sees this happen. Monday morning, he pulls her aside in the office.
I gave you a wine list to follow.
The customer asked for a suggestion. I gave them what would pair well.
You undermined me. I'm trying to drive traffic to higher margin pours.
That wine was $14 a glass. The Albarino was $16.
That's not the point.
Tony overhears the raised voices and sticks his head in.
What's going on?
Derek says quickly, smoothly,
Just a miscommunication about wine pairings. We'll get it sorted.
but later that day, my girlfriend's schedule changes. She's been moved from prime Friday and Saturday dinner shifts to Tuesday and Wednesday lunches, the lowest revenue shifts in the restaurant, the shifts where you make a third of what you'd make on weekends. When she asks Tony about it, he looks uncomfortable.
Derek said you requested more day shifts.
Her voice is flat, tired.
I didn't request anything.
Tony shifts his weight from foot to foot.
Talk to Derek. He's handling front of house scheduling now.
She talks to Derek. He smiles at her like they're old friends.
I thought you'd appreciate the easier schedule. You seem tired lately.
I want my evening shifts back.
We need to distribute the prime shifts more evenly across the staff. It's only fair to everyone.
She comes home that night and sits on the couch without taking off her shoes, just staring at nothing. She says,
He's punishing me.
I know. I'm watching it happen to both of us, watching us both get squeezed in different ways, and there's nothing I can do about it that won't make things worse. 3 weeks later, Derek announces we're changing suppliers for produce.
Carlos's prices are too high. I found a new supplier that delivers once a day and charges 40% less.
I already know how this is going to go, but I say it anyway because I want it on record. Carlos sources from local farms. The quality's exceptional, and he delivers twice a day so everything's fresh.
This new supplier delivers once a day and charges 40% less.
Because the quality's 40% worse. Tony says, not even looking up from his paperwork.
Let's try it.
The produce arrives the next day, and it's fine for basics. Onions, carrots, celery, things that are hard to screw up. But the delicate stuff, heirloom tomatoes, baby greens, fresh herbs, arrives wilted, bruised, clearly past its prime. I don't say anything. I just use what we have and let the results speak for themselves. The salads look tired and uninspired. The garnishes look sad and limp. One customer sends back a caprese because the tomatoes are mealy and flavorless. Derek looks at the returned plate like he's personally offended.
The tomatoes aren't ripe.
They're overripe. They were picked too early, sat in a truck too long, and now they're breaking down internally.
Well, make it work.
I can't make bad tomatoes good. That's not how cooking works.
Then take caprese off the menu.
It's one of our signature summer dishes, something we've served for 3 years, something regulars ask for by name. But I just nod and say, okay? Tony notices later when regular customers start asking for it.
Why isn't caprese available?
Derek said to remove it because the tomatoes from the new supplier aren't good enough. Tony looks at Derek with something like confusion. Derek says quickly,
The tomatoes were fine. He's being precious about ingredient quality.
I pull out my phone and show Tony the photo I took of the delivery that morning. Bruised tomatoes with split skins, clearly past prime, the kind of product that would embarrass any serious kitchen. Tony stares at the photo for a long moment, then looks at Derek with an expression I can't quite read.
Order from Carlos again.
That defeats the whole purpose of
Order from Carlos.
Derek's face goes red, but he nods and walks away. That afternoon, I get written up. Failure to communicate menu changes effectively with front-of-house staff. It's complete bullshit. I communicated everything properly, but I sign it anyway because what's the point of fighting? My girlfriend gets her schedule changed again. Now she's working split shifts, lunch service, 4-hour break where she can't actually go home because it's not worth the drive, then back for late-night cleanup. It's the worst possible schedule, designed to waste her entire day while giving her the fewest hours and least money. That night, we sit in our apartment, and I can see it in her face. Something's breaking. Something that's been bending for weeks is finally reaching its limit. She says quietly,
I can't do this anymore.
I know.
Every shift, I'm just waiting for the next thing, the next punishment, the next humiliation. I can't live like this.
She looks at me, really looks at me.
Why are we still here?
It's a good question. The best question, maybe. We're here because leaving feels like admitting defeat, because we've put 3 years into this place, because we don't have a plan yet. But those reasons are starting to feel pretty thin.
Let's make a plan.
Over the next month, while we're quietly planning our exit, Derek keeps pushing. He starts running training sessions during prep time, where he demonstrates his supposedly superior techniques to the kitchen staff. Most of them are just different approaches, not actually better, but he acts like he's enlightening us with forbidden knowledge. He announces one morning, proceeding to change a recipe we've been using successfully for years.
This is how you should be making stock.
The new method is more complicated, takes longer, and produces an inferior product, but I make it his way without comment. When the stock comes out weak and underflavored, Derek blames the bones.
The supplier must have changed something about their product.
It's the same supplier we've always used, different recipe.
The recipe is fine. Something else is wrong.
I just shrug and go back to my prep work. He changes our plating style next, declaring that our current approach is too minimalist.
Customers want to see more on the plate. They want to feel like they're getting their money's worth.
We start piling food on plates in a style that would have looked dated in 2005, busy, overwrought, lacking any sense of restraint or composition. Some customers love it because it looks abundant. Some customers look confused, like they're not sure what happened to the restaurant they remember. One food blogger posts an Instagram story. Is the restaurant going through an identity crisis? Tony sees it and asks what's going on. Derek explains.
New plating style. More value forward.
It looks sloppy.
It looks abundant and generous.
Tony's phone buzzes with another notification, another comment about the changes. He looks tired in a way that goes beyond just lack of sleep.
Just keep the food consistent, okay? That's all I'm asking.
But the food can't be consistent because Derek keeps changing things and then blaming the results on everyone else's execution. My girlfriend watches this from the front of house. She sees customers' faces when the food comes out. She hears the comments. This isn't what it used to be. Did something change? Is the original chef still here? She starts telling people, because what else can she say that won't get her in trouble?
New chef. Still working out some things.
Tips go down, not drastically enough to cause alarm, but noticeably enough that the servers start complaining. Regulars who used to come twice a month start coming once a month, then once every 2 months. One couple who'd been coming religiously for 2 years stops coming entirely. Then it happens. It's a Saturday night, busy service, and Derek's expediting at the pass. My girlfriend's working a 6 top good customers, regulars who've been coming here for years, celebrating an anniversary. They've ordered the full tasting menu with wine pairings, the whole experience, and she's been taking care of them with the attention and care she gives to all her tables. Halfway through service, Derek pulls her aside.
Table 12 is waiting too long for their appetizers. You need to push them.
I just checked with the kitchen. Apps are coming in 2 minutes.
That's too long. You should have put the order in earlier.
I put it in as soon as they finished ordering and closed their menus.
Well, something's wrong with your timing.
He walks away before she can respond, dismissing her like she's not worth another second of his attention. 2 minutes later, Table 12's appetizers come out exactly when the kitchen said they would. Perfect timing, beautiful plates, customers happy. But now Derek's standing at her 6 top, the anniversary table, talking to them. She walks up and hears the tail end of what he's saying.
She's still learning the timing on these larger tables. Bear with us. She'll get there.
The anniversary couple looks uncomfortable. They know my girlfriend, have been served by her dozens of times, know she's not still learning anything. She stands there with her face burning, publicly humiliated in front of customers she has a relationship with, undermined and made to look incompetent to cover for Derek's manufactured timeline problems. Derek walks away with that satisfied smile, and she stands there for a moment just trying to process what happened. After service, she tells me everything. But she's not crying, not upset in the way I expected. She's just decided.
I'm done. I'm not coming back.
I look at her, really look at her, and I can see that this isn't anger or frustration. This is a decision that's already been made, a line that's already been crossed. Then we're both done. We spend the weekend making calls and setting things in motion. I reach out to Marcus, the sous chef who quit last year after one too many run-ins with Tony's family management style. You still thinking about going independent?
Always.
Want to actually do it? For real this time? We meet for coffee Sunday afternoon and talk for 3 hours. By the end of it, we have the bones of a plan: small space, focused menu, equal partnership, no family drama or toxic management. We shake hands on it. Monday morning, my girlfriend and I walk into Tony's office together and hand him our 2-week notices. He stares at the papers like they're written in a foreign language he's never seen before.
What is this?
We're resigning 2 weeks from today. Tony's face goes through several expressions in rapid succession: confusion, then disbelief, then anger.
Both of you? You're both quitting at the same time?
Yes. His face flushes red, starting at his collar and creeping up to his hairline.
You can't. This is incredibly unprofessional. You're leaving me in an impossible position here. Do you have any idea what this does to me? I've got a full book. I've got events scheduled. Summer's our busiest season.
My girlfriend says calmly,
We're giving you 2 weeks' notice. That's the professional standard.
Professional? There's nothing professional about abandoning ship in the middle of...
Derek appears in the doorway, beer bottle in hand even though it's barely noon, drawn by the raised voices.
What's going on?
Tony says, and there's something almost betrayed in his voice, like we've personally insulted him.
They're quitting, both of them, at the same time.
Derek laughs, actually laughs, like this is the funniest thing he's heard all week.
Seriously? You're just going to walk out on him like that?
We're giving notice. That's not walking out. That's how this works. Tony leans forward, hands flat on the desk, and I can see him shifting gears from shock to negotiation mode.
Okay, let's talk about this like adults. Whatever the problem is, we can work it out. I can fix this. I'll bump your pay, both of you. Another $3 an hour starting immediately.
He looks directly at me.
And I'll make you head chef. Official title, full authority over the kitchen. Derek can move to Sue's.
I glance at Derek and watch his beer bottle stop halfway to his mouth, watch his smile freeze into something harder and more brittle. No, thank you.
$4 an hour. And full benefits. That's my final offer.
I appreciate it, Tony, really, but we're leaving. Tony's voice goes sharp with accusation.
This is about him, isn't it? He told me you threatened him in the parking lot a few weeks back. Cornered him. Got in his face. You think I don't know what's been going on here? You've been undermining him from day one.
My girlfriend's hand finds mine, her fingers cool and steady, grounding me. She says again, voice calm and final.
We're leaving. Professionally, with 2 weeks' notice.
Tony stands abruptly, his chair scraping back across the floor with a sound like a warning.
You're making a huge mistake. You know how hard it is out there? The failure rate for new restaurants? 70% close in the first year? You think you're just going to walk into something better? You think you can do better than this?
We'll figure it out.
You're burning a bridge here. When this doesn't work out, and it won't, don't come crying back to me for your old jobs.
We're giving notice. That's the professional way to leave. That's not burning anything. He stares at us for a long moment, cycling through responses, looking for the magic words that will make this problem go away. Finally, he waves his hand in disgust.
Fine, you know what? I don't need 2 weeks. I don't need people working here who don't want to be here, who don't respect what we're building. You're done. Both of you. Finish this shift and don't come back.
My girlfriend's hand tightens in mine, but her voice doesn't waver.
Okay.
We turn to leave, and behind us I hear Derek say something to Tony in a low voice, too quiet to make out the words. Tony's response is sharp and loud enough for everyone to hear.
I offered them $4. 4! And they still walked.
One of the line cooks pokes his head into the office, drawn by the raised voices. Yo, what's happening? Tony announces, loud enough for the whole kitchen to hear, loud enough that his voice probably carries into the dining room.
They quit, and I offered them a raise, a good one, $4 an hour, more than fair, and they turned it down flat.
There's a beat of silence, then someone, I think it's the prep cook who's been here for 2 years, says, Wait, you offered them $4 an hour? You told me there was no room in the budget when I asked for a raise last month. Another voice, bitter and angry. You said you couldn't afford to give anyone raises this year. You said times were tight. We don't stay to hear the rest of the conversation. We grab our knife rolls from our lockers, our jackets from the hooks by the back door, and we walk out to the kitchen for the last time. No one says goodbye, but I can feel everyone watching us leave, feel the weight of their attention like heat on the back of my neck.
The kitchen was already falling apart, and it had only been 3 days. Miguel watched Derek try to run the sauté station, the protagonist's old station during lunch rush. 6 pans going, tickets piling up, and Derek's face was already brick red with stress and exertion.
Where's the backup salmon?
Miguel called back from his station. There isn't any. We went to day prep, remember? That was your call.
Well, prep some more right now.
It's raw. It'll take 20 minutes to portion and season properly.
Then 86 the fucking salmon.
By 1 o'clock, they'd 86'd 3 signature items. By 1:30, ticket times were hitting 40 minutes for food that used to take 15. Miguel could see the servers getting increasingly stressed, could hear them making excuses to customers who were checking their watches and exchanging looks. Derek kept blaming everyone around him for everything that went wrong.
Why didn't anyone tell me we were low on salmon? Why is garnish taking so long? Why isn't anyone helping me?
But the truth was obvious to everyone in that kitchen. Derek was trying to do the job of 3 people, and he wasn't good enough to pull it off. That night, 2 more cooks quit, just walked out mid-shift without a word. One of them, a guy Miguel had worked with for a year, stopped on his way out and said, "I'm not doing this anymore. This place is a sinking ship, and I'm not going down with it."
Patricia Chen had been coming to this restaurant every Friday for 3 years. Same table when possible, same server. Rachel, the young woman who always remembered that Patricia liked her wine, slightly chilled and her steak closer to medium than medium rare, who asked about Patricia's daughter and remembered details from conversations weeks ago. Tonight, Patricia's server was someone she'd never seen before, a young man who looked harried and overwhelmed. She asked, "Is Rachel working tonight?"
She left a couple weeks ago.
Patricia felt a small pang of disappointment, like losing touch with a friend. Oh, what about the chef? The one who usually does the scallops?
He left too, same time.
Patricia ordered the scallops anyway, because they'd always been perfect, delicate, and sweet, with a buttery crust that shattered at the touch of a fork. They came out 25 minutes later, far too long for a weeknight, and when she cut into them, they were overcooked and rubbery. Not inedible, but nothing like what she'd come to expect from this place. She ate half out of politeness, left the rest, paid her check, and left a smaller tip than usual. On the way home, she pulled out her phone and scrolled through Yelp. There was a new place across town, Ember, that had opened recently, lots of good reviews, mentions of a chef who clearly cared about the food. She made a reservation for next Friday. She didn't come back to the old place.
Tony sat in his office at 11 o'clock at night, staring at the Excel spreadsheet that refused to make sense no matter how many times he recalculated the numbers. Revenue was down 28% from last year, same period, and that didn't even account for the reservations he knew they'd lost, the customers who'd stopped coming without saying anything. Labor costs were somehow up despite running on a skeleton crew because he kept having to hire new people to replace the ones who quit, and training took time and money he didn't have. Food costs were up because Derek kept screwing up orders, kept overcooking expensive cuts, kept running out of items and having to place emergency orders at premium prices. He'd fired Derek 2 weeks ago, not because of incompetence, though God knows that was reason enough. He'd fired Derek because he caught him in the walk-in with one of the servers, and word had spread through the staff so fast that Tony couldn't contain it. The drama had become impossible to manage, and in the end Derek had to go. But firing Derek didn't fix anything. Now Tony was working the line himself, trying to remember techniques he'd never really mastered, burning through what was left of his goodwill with customers. He posted the head chef position 3 weeks ago. Competitive pay, full benefits, opportunity to build something. 6 people had applied. 2 hadn't shown up for their interviews. 3 had come in, asked some questions about the work environment and turnover rate, and politely declined. The 6 had been brutally honest. I heard about the turnover. I heard about the family drama. I can't afford a job this unstable. Tony had called culinary schools, reached out to placement agencies, contacted every connection he had in the industry. No one wanted it. He opened Yelp even though he knew he shouldn't, even though it would just make him feel worse. 3.1 stars, down from 4.26 months ago. The recent reviews told the same story over and over. Food took forever and came out mediocre. Not what this place used to be. Save your money. The most recent review, posted just hours ago. So sad to see how far this place has fallen. Used to be our favorite spot in the city. The quality went across town when the chef left. Tony clicked on the reviewer's profile and saw they'd also reviewed another restaurant with 5 stars and glowing praise. He clicked through to that restaurant's page and felt something cold and heavy settle in his stomach. The restaurant was called Ember. The chef-owner was his former line cook. The co-owner was his former hostess. They'd opened 4 months ago with a small space and a focused menu, and they had a 4.7-star rating. The reviews were full of words like authentic and passionate, and you can tell they care about every single dish. And there at the top of the page was a featured badge, top 5 new restaurants in the city. Tony closed his laptop and sat there in the dark office, listening to the sound of the dishwasher running in the kitchen, and felt the full weight of what he'd lost.
Derek Martinez sat in his car outside the unemployment office, scrolling through job listings on his phone and finding nothing that didn't make him want to throw the device out the window. 3 applications this week, 0 responses. 5 applications last week, 1 phone screening that went nowhere. He'd been out of work for 2 months now, ever since Tony fired him. At first, he'd been confident he had experience, he knew the industry, something would come up. But every interview ended the same way. They'd ask about his last position, why he left, and he could see it in their faces, they already knew. Someone had already called, already checked, already heard the stories about the drama and the affair and the general chaos. Restaurant industry was small. Everyone talked. Everyone knew everyone. His ex-wife, he still thought of her as his wife sometimes, even though the divorce had been finalized 3 weeks ago, had taken their daughter and moved 2 hours away to live with her parents. The settlement had wiped out what little savings he had. He was living in an extended stay motel off the highway, eating fast food for every meal, watching his bank account drain away week by week. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered with more hope than he wanted to admit. Hello?
Hi, is this Derek Martinez? This is Lisa from Coastal Kitchen. We received your application for the sous chef position.
Derek sat up straighter, tried to inject energy into his voice. Yes, hi. Thanks so much for calling.
I just wanted to follow up personally. We're actually moving forward with other candidates at this time, but I wanted to let you know rather than just leaving you hanging.
Can I ask why? I have extensive experience in fine dining.
We did our due diligence and spoke with some contacts in the industry. We heard some things about your last position that gave us concerns about cultural fit and workplace professionalism.
I can explain those situations.
I'm sure you can, but we've decided to go in a different direction. Good luck with your search.
She hung up before he could say anything else. Derek sat there in his car, staring at nothing, feeling something cold and final settle into his bones. He pulled up Instagram, typed in Ember Restaurant even though he knew he shouldn't, and saw their latest post, a photo of a perfectly plated dish, warm lighting, happy customers visible in the background. The caption read, "Celebrating 6 months. Thank you to our incredible community for making this dream a reality." Derek recognized the plating style immediately. Minimalist, elegant, every element on the plate there for a reason, the exact opposite of everything he tried to implement. The post had 847 likes and dozens of comments praising the food and the atmosphere. Derek locked his phone and threw it on the passenger seat, then sat there in the parking lot for a long time, not going anywhere.
We're celebrating Ember's 6-month anniversary tonight with a special tasting menu, and the energy in the dining room is exactly what we hoped it would be, warm and buzzing with conversation, every table occupied. I'm in the kitchen with Marcus, working in the rhythm we've built together over these months, the kind of flow that only comes from mutual respect and shared vision. My fiancé, we got engaged last month over breakfast. Nothing fancy, just the two of us, and the life we're building is in the dining room talking to guests. I can hear her laughing at something a customer said, and it's a real laugh, not the professional one she used to use at Tony's place. The first month was terrifying in that way that all new things are terrifying. We did 30 covers the first week, and I lay awake every night wondering if we'd made a huge mistake. But word spread organically through the channels that matter. Vendors mentioned us to other chefs, former coworkers came in and brought friends, someone left a 5-star review and then another, and then 10 more. By month 3, we had a waiting list for weekend tables. Tonight we're busy enough that I almost don't notice when Marcus nudges me and nods toward the window. There's a car parked across the street, engine off, someone sitting in the driver's seat looking at our restaurant. The streetlight catches the driver's face, and I recognize Tony. He sits there for maybe 5 minutes, just watching. Then he starts his car and drives away. I turn back to my station and keep working. There's a beautiful piece of halibut that needs my attention. We're doing a second location next year if the numbers keep trending the way they're trending. Marcus wants to come in as a full partner, which feels right. My fiancé and I are planning the wedding for spring small ceremony, just family and close friends. Maybe we'll cater it ourselves with something simple and meaningful. Life is good. The work is hard, but it's our work, done our way, with people we respect. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. Thank you so much for listening. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been in a workplace where you were expected to fix problems you didn't create, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if there's a story you'd like me to create, let me know. Just for fun, tell me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is there. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one.